And now, the Morris Cerullo Video School of Ministry presents Manifested Sons of God with Morris Cerullo.
Now, anybody looking at Jesus in this critical moment would have called this the greatest hour of Jesus' defeat. But you know what Jesus said? John 12:23. Listen to it. He said, "The hour is come that the Son of Man should be glorified." You see, because Jesus knew something the devil didn't know. The devil thought that when he killed him, he would defeat him, but Jesus knew his death would be the glory of God. Now, when you know you remember that position 20 feet tall we talked about? Huh? When you know, you never waver. Anything can come at you. You don't waver because you know. Now you're going to find out what you know in just a moment. When you know, you never falter. When you know he can come against you with the fiercest winds that he has to throw against you, you stand here toe to toe. Brother, the winds blow, but you never flinch. You never retreat. You say, Brother Cerullo, how in the world can that happen? I'll tell you how that can happen. Because inside your deep innermost recesses of knowing, you know this, that all of these things that you see on the outside, all of these circumstances that you see on the outside, you know that these too shall pass. You know inside you already have the victory, even though you don't see it right now with your eyes. You know you have it. Listen to John 13:3 and 4. Now, say it with me again this morning, knowing. Say it again. Say it one more time. John 13:3 and 4. Listen to it. Jesus, knowing. If you're taking notes, write that scripture down. John 13:3 and 4. Jesus, knowing, full aware that the Father had put everything in his hands, and that he had come from God. How would you like to face the devil knowing that God's put all power in your hands? And how would you like to face the devil knowing that you were not Morris Cerullo, you were not John Smith, you were not Paul Trelane, you're not Alex Ness, you're not John Avanzini, but you are a child of the living God? Now, what did Jesus know? Woo! He knew that God had put everything in his hands. What else did he know? He knew that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. And the Word became flesh. He knew he came from God. He knew where he came from. All right. Brother Cirillo, what else did he know? He not only knew what he had in his hands, he not only knew where he came from, but he knew where he was going. Let me read a little more of that scripture, and then let me read John 8:14 for you. Let's go back to John 13, the 3rd verse. Jesus, knowing, full aware that the Father had put everything in his hands and that he had come from God and he was now returning to God. All right, John 8:14. Jesus said, I know where I came from and where I am going. He faced every trial. He faced every temptation. He faced every circumstance from this strong position that could not be shaken. Stretch your hands up to the Father this morning. Say this after me. Jesus knew who he was. I must know who I am. Jesus knew his calling. I must know my calling. Jesus knew the will of God. I must know the will of God. Jesus knew where he was from. I must know where I am from. Jesus knew where he was headed. I must know where I am going. The God that I serve is a God of plan, a God of purpose. I am a part of God's end time plan. And God has not planned any defeats for me. Now that Greek word doxa means all that God has and is. He was the image. He was the manifestation visibly of all that God has and all that God is. The God that we serve is a God of plan, purpose, design, objectivity. What is his plan? What is his purpose? What is his design? And what is his objectivity? It's to have sons and daughters who will manifest all that God has and all that God is. imagine the strength that's inside your being when you face the devil, knowing you are the express image of God. You represent all that God is and all that God has. God is going to have a people. To see Jesus was to see God. To see me is to see Jesus. It's about time we knew who we are. Go on, turn around, shake hands, and tell somebody.